It's a big decision whether or not to start your own business. Should you or shouldn't you take the plunge? There's so much to think about, so much to plan and do. And if you're thinking about taking that first big step into the business world, then maybe there's something missing from your action list. Have you thought about tax? Yes, tax. Thinking about the tax and national insurance that you may need to pay and telling us, HM Revenue and Customs, that's HMRC for short, that you're starting a new business needs to be near the top of your list. It might feel strange imagining yourself as a business person, a future entrepreneur, the next, well, you can fill in those famous names yourself. But remember, all those successful business people had to start somewhere, and many of them started with a small idea, wondering if it might grow into something big, just like you're doing now. So, first things first. One important question you need to ask yourself is, am I actually in business? That sounds like quite a tricky question, and it is. So let's look at someone who's just setting up a business. Let's look at Ben. Ben likes gardening, and sometimes he cuts his neighbour's lawn and she gives him £5. He's a good guy, but he isn't in business. But then Ben decides that he's going to get his act together and really earn some money from gardening. So he advertises in local shop windows. He tells people what he's going to charge. He buys some gardening tools. Now he has a business. The same goes for Leo, who's advertising his services as a plumber. And Jazz, who set up an online web design business and just got her first customer. They're all in business, which means they all need to contact HMRC. But what does this mean for you? Well, if you're just starting your own business, there are 3 important things you need to do to get off on the right track with HMRC. They're easy to remember: register, records, and returns. Let's look at each one in turn. The first R is register. Like Ben, Leo, and Jazz, once you start your own business, you need to tell HMRC. The easiest way to do this is online, by visiting the gov.uk website and searching for Register Your New Business with HMRC. One of the bits of information you'll be asked for is your national insurance number. You'll have received this automatically from HMRC just before your 16th birthday. If you're struggling to remember where you put it, the gov.uk website will tell you how to request another copy. The second R is records. As soon as you start your business, you'll need to keep a really accurate record of all your income, that's the money you make, and all your expenditure, that's the money you have to spend to run your business. You also have to keep the evidence, invoices and receipts of all the things that your business buys and sells. And you're required to store these records and receipts somewhere safe for up to 6 years. That's the law. So make sure you set up a good system, either paper or electronic from the start, so all that paperwork doesn't get on top of you. The third R is returns. One of these is the self-assessment tax return. Once you're self-employed, you pay your income tax through a system called self-assessment. You need to do this every year after the tax year ends on 5th of April. Yeah, we know that's a weird date. There are strict deadlines for completing your self-assessment tax return, and you'll have to pay extra money, a tax penalty, if you miss the deadline. So it's really important that you complete this tax return on time. But don't worry, you'll be given information to help you understand how to do this once you've registered your business with HMRC. You can also use HMRC's online Self-Employed Ready Reckoner to calculate roughly how much money you should put aside each week or month to cover your tax and national insurance payments, so that it doesn't come as a nasty shock when you have to make a payment at the end of the tax year. If you're working on your own, the technical term is a sole trader. You are personally responsible for making sure your business pays the right amount of tax and national insurance. That's you, 100% responsible. But if you go into business with someone else, that's called a partnership. Both of you are equally responsible for paying any business debts, including tax. If something goes wrong, you won't be able to blame the other person, even if you'd agreed to leave the tax side of the business to them. So, have you got that? Register, records, and returns, the 3 R's. The 3 key things that you need to know if you start your own business. There are a couple of other things you might need to think about. One of them is value-added tax, or VAT for short. If the amount of money your business makes reaches a certain level, and you can check on gov.uk what that is, you'll need to register your business with HMRC for VAT. The other is if you plan to work in the building industry, because there's a special tax scheme for self-employed construction workers. It's called the Construction Industry Scheme, and yes, you've guessed it, you can find out all about it on gov.uk. Phew! We know there's a lot to take in. The good thing is that HMRC offers lots of helpful advice to small businesses, including online guides, YouTube videos and Twitter alerts. And I know we've been plugging it pretty hard, but you can also visit HMRC on the gov.uk website at any time for plain and simple guidance. We really are very helpful people. Starting your first business can feel daunting, confusing, even terrifying, but it's also really exciting. And who knows where this is going to take you. If you do take the plunge, we hope you'll be really successful and maybe even the next, well, you can fill in the famous name.